The old van broke down on a snowy mountain road outside Stowe, Vermont, a place where silence feels sacred. Sister Catherine was sweeping the convent steps when she heard the engine sound through the wind. She froze. That engine, that sound. 16 years. 16 years of carefully constructed silence, and her body remembered him before her mind did. The Benedictine convent in Stowe sits high on a mountain, surrounded by snow. It's the kind of place where sound dies, where silence becomes almost physical. The snow absorbs noise. The wind mutes it. Only the church bells break through, but those are sacred, so their sound is allowed. Sister Catherine wakes at 4:47 a.m. She always does. 16 years of doing this, and her body no longer needs an alarm. Her room is bare, a bed, a wooden cross, a small window that overlooks the valley below, where the world continues without her. She doesn't watch it. She doesn't allow herself to. She dresses in her black habit. The fabric is old, worn soft from years of washing. Her hands move with the precision of someone who has done this thousands of times. Muscle memory, the only language her body speaks fluently now. The chapel is cold, stone walls, stained glass windows that won't let in warmth, only colored light. She kneels at the front pew, her knees pressing into the hard wood. Pain. Good. Pain is honest. The other sisters file in, 7 of them. They don't greet each other, they pray instead. Sister Catherine's lips move, but no sound comes out. Her throat closed a long time ago, or she closed it. By now, she's forgotten which. After prayers, she goes to the library. The library is where Catherine spends her days, organizing books that smell like decades, medical texts from the 1950s, theology from the 1800s, old encyclopedias. Nobody comes here except her. This is the job Mother Superior gave her when she arrived 16 years ago, half broken and unable to speak. "You'll organize the library," she had said, not unkindly. "Let your hands do the talking." So that's what Catherine has done. Her hands know every spine of every book. They know the Dewey Decimal System the way other people know their own heartbeat. This morning, she's reaching for a high shelf when she finds it, a medical journal she'd missed before, wedged between 2 theology books, Advances in Trauma Surgery, from 2015. Her fingers tremble slightly as she pulls it free. She knows what she'll find before she opens it. The author photograph. Always the same face. Older now, but unmistakably him. Dr. James Mitchell, Harvard-trained trauma surgeon, published across a dozen journals, his work focusing on field medicine, emergency response, treatment protocols for combat wounds. Catherine's hands shake as she reads the biography. Dr. Mitchell has worked in conflict zones across the Middle East and North Africa, including Syria, Iraq, and Yemen. He currently serves as Chief of Trauma Surgery at Boston Medical Center. She presses the journal against her chest and closes her eyes. This is what she does when the old pain comes back. And it always comes back. She closes her eyes and reminds herself, he's alive, he moved on, he's happy, that's enough, that has to be enough. But her heart doesn't listen. Her heart still beats his name. There's a sound outside, a car engine. No, a van. Sister Catherine freezes. The convent doesn't get many visitors in winter. The road up the mountain gets treacherous with snow. Most people avoid this place unless they have to come. She hears tires crunching on gravel, the engine dying, a door opening. Through the library window, she can see down to the front gates, a beat-up van painted a faded blue, sitting askew in the driveway like it's about to collapse. The driver's door opens. A man steps out, tall, limping slightly, favoring his right side, wearing a heavy coat over worn jeans. His hair's darker than she remembers, shot through with silver now, but the way he moves, that careful, practiced way of someone managing pain, that's exactly the same. Catherine's breath catches in her throat. No. No, it's not possible. It can't be. The man reaches back into the van and pulls out a medical bag. It's held together with duct tape and optimism, the kind of bag that's been through wars. He's limping toward the convent door. Catherine closes her eyes. Her hands crush the medical journal against her chest. After 16 years of silence, she finally wants to scream. Mother Superior Patricia opens the door. She's 73 years old, has been leading this convent for 34 years, and has seen enough human suffering to recognize it at a glance. This man has it written all over him. The kind of exhaustion that goes bone deep. The kind of limp that comes from shrapnel or infection or decisions made too quickly in operating rooms that shouldn't exist. "Can I help you?" she asks, not unkindly. "My van," the man says, his voice rough, like he hasn't used it much lately. "It died about a mile down the road. I was heading to Boston. Got my phone on emergency mode, no signal up here. I was wondering if I could come inside for a bit, call for a tow, maybe wait out of the cold." Mother Superior sees a man in need. She opens the door wider. "Of course, come in, we have tea." As the man steps inside, shaking snow from his coat, Sister Catherine watches from the library doorway. Hidden. Safe, or so she thinks. The man looks around the convent's entrance, the stone walls, the wooden crucifixes, the small altar with its perpetually lit candles. He seems to exhale, like he's been holding his breath for a long time. "It's beautiful," he says, "peaceful." "It's meant to be," Mother Superior replies. "Sister Angela, tea please. Sister Catherine, come help us." Catherine's fingers tighten on the journal. Every nerve in her body is screaming at her to run. Instead, her feet move. 16 years of obedience overrides 16 years of terror. She steps into the hallway. The man is standing with his back to her, looking at a painting of St. Catherine of Siena. The irony of it, that he's looking at a saint painted with the same name Catherine wears, hits her with physical force. Mother Superior gestures to her. "Sister Catherine, this is—" She pauses. "Actually, I didn't catch your name." The man turns around. Time stops. His eyes are exactly as Catherine remembers them, blue, intelligent, filled with the particular sadness of a person who has held too many people as they died. Lines around them now, deeper. His hair's gray at the temples. There's a scar on his left cheek she doesn't remember, probably from something that happened after she disappeared. His face goes completely still. "Catherine," he whispers. Sister Catherine cannot move, cannot breathe, cannot do anything except stand there in her habit, holding a 2015 medical journal with his name written on the spine, while the man she watched die in a hospital in Aleppo, Syria, stares at her like she's a ghost. "Do you two know each other?" Mother Superior asks, confused. "That's not possible," James says. His voice is barely audible. "That's not— Catherine, is that really—" Catherine still cannot speak. The silence that has protected her for 16 years has become a prison. All the words she's never said, all the things she's never told him, are suddenly trapped behind her teeth. James takes a step forward. "Your name," he says, the realization dawning in his eyes. "Your name is Catherine, like the painting, like—" He stops, stares. "Oh my God, it's really you. You're really alive." They sit in the convent's small guest room, James, Catherine, and Mother Superior. Sister Angela hovers at the edge of the room, sensing this is beyond her understanding but unwilling to leave. Catherine has a pen and paper. This is how she communicates now. Words written instead of spoken. It takes longer. It's harder. But it's all she has. She writes, "You died. I watched them pull you out of the rubble. Your chest wasn't moving." James reads it and shakes his head. "No, I was buried under debris for 20 minutes. Concussion, broken ribs, internal bleeding, but alive. My team got me out. They got me to a field hospital in Turkey. Surgeries, recovery, 8 months in a hospital bed." He pauses. "But I looked for you. Catherine, I looked everywhere. You weren't in the hospital records. Nobody had seen you. I thought—" Catherine writes again. "I was in the basement, operating on a girl with a crushed leg. When the bomb went off, the ceiling came down. My leg was pinned, bleeding badly. I couldn't get out. I was trapped." She watches James's face change as she writes. She continues, "A man, I never learned his name. He came down into the basement. He was carrying medical supplies, trying to save people in the rubble. He got my leg free. He wrapped it. He was keeping me alive when the soldiers came. Mother Superior is listening now, understanding that this is not just a reunion, but a confession. Soldiers? James asks. What soldiers? Catherine doesn't write the next part. She just pulls up her habit slightly, showing the long scar that runs down her left leg. It's a surgeon's mark, precise and devastating. Someone cleaned up a trauma wound with professional care, but the damage was still extensive. They took you, James says. It's not a question. Catherine nods. Then she writes, 6 months. They kept me in a detention center. They said they needed a doctor. They said I could save lives, but what they really wanted was for me to save soldiers, to keep fighters alive so they could go back to killing people. She sets down the pen. Her hands are trembling so badly she can't write anymore. How did you get out? Mother Superior asks softly. Catherine picks up the pen again. Her writing is shaky now. Red Cross. They negotiated. I was released to Lebanon, spent 3 months in a refugee camp healing. But I was broken. Not just my body, my mind, my soul. I couldn't speak. The trauma, the doctor said it was selective mutism. My brain shut down language as a survival mechanism. James is weeping now, quietly, his shoulders shaking. Catherine continues, I came to America on a humanitarian visa, stayed in a hospital in Boston for 2 months. Then I realized I couldn't go back to being a doctor. I couldn't look at a hospital without... She pauses, unable to write the rest. So I asked to join a convent. Mother Superior Patricia took me in without questions. She said prayer could heal what medicine couldn't. Mother Superior reaches over and squeezes Catherine's hand. And has it? James asks. Has prayer healed you? Catherine looks at him for a long moment. Then she writes, prayer helped me survive, but it didn't heal me. It just taught me how to live with the wound. I looked for you for 5 years, James says. His voice is hollow. I went to every refugee camp, every hospital, every Red Cross office. I hired investigators. I couldn't find you. After a while, I had to accept that you were gone. Catherine writes, I read your papers, all of them. I found your work in medical journals. I followed your career. I watched you become everything we dreamed you'd be. James looks at the journal still clutched in Catherine's other hand, the one with his 2015 publication on it. You've been here the whole time, he says, 16 years, and you've been reading about me, watching my life. Catherine nods slowly. Why didn't you reach out? James asks. Why didn't you tell anyone? I would have dropped everything. Catherine writes one sentence, and her hands are so steady for this one moment, so sure. Because I was ashamed. I thought you had moved on. I thought you deserved to live a normal life, and I wasn't sure I could ever be normal again. James stays at the convent for 3 days. The van is fixed by the next morning, but he doesn't leave. Instead, he and Catherine spend those 3 days communicating, at first through writing, but slowly, carefully, Catherine begins to speak again, just single words at first. Yes, no, please. By the 3rd day, she manages a full sentence. I don't know if I can be a doctor again. James doesn't try to convince her otherwise. He listens. He sits with her in the library while she shows him every medical journal she's collected over 16 years. He understands, in a way that most people wouldn't, why she had to step away. Trauma steals things from us, he tells her on their last evening together. Your voice, my ability to sleep, other people's ability to trust that the world is safe. But Catherine, it doesn't have to steal your entire life. Isn't that what it did? Catherine asks quietly. Stole 16 years? No, James says. Those 16 years, you used them to save yourself. That's not stealing. That's survival. And I'm proud of you for surviving. Catherine cries for the first time in 16 years. She doesn't hold it back. The sobs come from deep inside her, from places she's kept frozen. Mother Superior holds her while she cries. Sister Angela brings tissues. James sits across from her, tears on his own face, bearing witness to her pain. The next morning, James has to leave. He has patients waiting in Boston, a hospital that depends on him, a life. "Come with me," he says. "It's not a question this time." Catherine shakes her head. "Not yet. I'm not ready yet." "When will you be ready?" James asks. "I don't know," Catherine admits, "but I know I'm not ready to be the person I was before, and I'm not ready to stay silent forever." James gives her his number, his email, his address, all the ways to find him. "I'll wait," he says. "I waited 16 years without knowing you were alive. I can wait as long as it takes for you to heal." He kisses her forehead, the only touch she allows herself. Then he gets in the van and drives down the snowy mountain. After James leaves, something shifts inside Catherine. She begins speaking again, little by little. Words at first, then sentences. She starts attending dinner with the other sisters. She tells stories about her life before, carefully edited but honest. Mother Superior notices the change and smiles. "You're coming back to the world," she says. "I'm not sure the world wants me," Catherine replies. "Perhaps not," Mother Superior says, "but there's a man in Boston who does." 3 months later, Catherine walks into Boston Medical Center. She doesn't go back to surgery, not immediately. Instead, she takes a position as a trauma counselor. She sits with patients who've survived unspeakable things. She doesn't speak much. Old habits die hard, but her silence becomes a gift. People tell her things they wouldn't tell anyone else because she understands without words what it means to survive. James sees her in the hallway one day, and he smiles. A smile that says, "I told you. I told you the world needed you." Catherine doesn't move back in with him right away. She gets her own apartment. She rebuilds herself slowly, carefully, the way a surgeon repairs a critical wound. But she does start having dinner with James every Thursday. And 1 year after he found her in that convent in Vermont, she finally speaks his name out loud. "James," she says, and he cries. Because sometimes the greatest miracles aren't loud. They're quiet. They're the sound of someone finally ready to speak after a lifetime of silence. They're the sound of coming home. Catherine is leading a seminar at Boston University on trauma and recovery. She's not a full-time doctor yet. Maybe she never will be. But she's teaching the next generation what it means to heal, truly heal, from wounds that go beyond the physical. James sits in the back of the classroom, watching her speak with confidence and clarity about pain, survival, and the long journey back to wholeness. After class, they walk together through the Boston streets. "Do you ever regret," he asks her, "those 16 years in the convent?" Catherine considers the question carefully. "I regret the trauma that sent me there, but not the years themselves. They saved my life. They taught me that silence isn't always a prison. Sometimes it's a sanctuary. And sometimes the bravest thing you can do is break that silence." She takes his hand. "But I'm glad I broke it," she says. "I'm glad you found me. I'm glad I found my way back." James squeezes her hand. "So am I," he says. "So am I." And in the Boston winter, not as cold as Vermont, but cold enough to remind them both of where they've been, they walk forward together into a future that was worth waiting for.